There is a an interesting situation with fighting games where if they're too complex, only the hardest of tryhards will be able to get into it. However, the problem with that is that the hardest of tryhards is a very small niche community. So, what you want to do is you actually want to try to make it more casual friendly so that more people will buy it so that you can create a bigger scene. However, that
Or you,
destroys that ruins the try hard aspect of it. So
or you, or you just have the Dragon Ball IP. Then you don't have to worry about it. Looking at you, Dragon Ball fighters.
that has a lot of auto combos in it. But they did it well, so where is Ridgeland Tower? Are you Ridgeland Tower? And where is
All the casuals dropped it after like a month. Only the dedicated players stayed.
yeah.
But it still sold more than almost any fighting game besides Smash
Mhm.
and maybe Street Fighter 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Street Fighter 2 was unique. The Super Nintendo era was different. Smash look, Smash is weird in the sense that it was designed for casuals, but but tryhards kind of took it over. And here's the thing: is that it's Smash Bros could be so much more. I'm telling you, I liken it to like actual sports. When you have professional football teams or soccer teams, like when you play pickup sports, right? People will play pickup soccer or just like with their buddies and friends. That doesn't necessarily mean they don't hate soccer. They're just not professionals. Smash Bros is the only game that does that dynamic where you have a big casual base that siphons into the tryhard base, and the tryhard base actually hypes it up for casuals to want to buy the game. It's the only really game that does that. And it makes me upset that it's owned by Nintendo. Because they could actually make it so much better. They don't know what they're sitting on. Because they've actually created a game that enough players and enough people are hyped about both sides of it. Sorry. That was a little rant that I have been holding back for a while.
I get it. And I agree Nintendo doesn't know what they're sitting on.
No. No. Because they like if you want to have a big game, you have to cater to casuals. Like there's no other way. But very rarely do do casual players look up to professional players and be like, this is exciting, right? In a game. Like look at football. Football has a fantasy football league. Anybody going to try to make like a fantasy Smash Bros league or something where they try to predict which top player is going to win the most games in a year or something?
I played fantasy football.
Yeah.
I'm not even a football fan, and I played it
Yeah.
because it's a numbers game.
Mhm.
It's a numbers game. It's not really. You don't have to be an expert on football. You just have to be good on numbers.
Yeah. Now
And they
that
used to call me. They used to call me the king of the waiver wire
mhm.
because I would always find the best players on the waiver all the time.
Oh man.
Because I'm also good at predictions. I could go, okay, this guy scored this many points, but they're starting now. They're no longer a bench guy. I should pick them up.
Yeah.
Predictions like that.
Ah. But Smash Bros could be so much bigger and better if like every single part of the system was just not stupid. Nintendo stupid for being so like direct and just stubborn. The community stupid because they keep making these large scale mistakes over and over, which makes it so that Nintendo doesn't want to be part of it. Like Smash Bros is like, I want to be a grassroots, and then they're like, okay, be grassroots, and then they complain that like Nintendo doesn't give them any support or help them. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. If you want to be a big like event or a big scene, you have to bow down to the people with the big money. It's impressive what the Smash Bros. Community has done. And I guess they probably don't trust Nintendo because of how much Nintendo tried to stifle them. Gah. So I guess I can't blame them for wanting to solely focus on grassroots, but like there's got to be a middle ground has to be reached somewhere. And look, if I'm going to be honest, in 2020 during COVID when the culling happened, if you remember that, like that was the one moment where I was like, wow, thank goodness Nintendo had no part of the community because look how bad that would have hit Nintendo. Instead, it just hit the Smash community, and now everyone thinks the Smash community is just like one of the most toxic communities out there.
It is pretty toxic though.
It is, and one of the reasons is because it is grassroots. So like they don't have a big they don't have like a big corporation being like, "Hey guys, look, this is what you need to do if you want to be sponsored and make money, you got to play by our rules." What? Yeah, like it's also frustrating. And I get it. It's not a nobody wants to make deals with each other anymore. Like they've tried, and every deal has just fallen through. Every deal, Nintendo with Twitch, that deal fell through. I remember learning about that. And I was just so upset with Nintendo for basically cannibalizing their sponsorships. Because Twitch tried really hard to get a sponsorship with Nintendo and to create like a special Twitch tournament. And I guess probably because Smash Ultimate was in development, it was going to be for the Smash 4. They delayed it by like they delayed it so long that it ended up nothing happened with it. Or when Ninja tried to create a Smash tournament with Red Bull sponsors and Nintendo shut it down. It's just like I get why the Smash community wants to be grassroots because they don't get any help with Nintendo. But on the flip side, like why would Nintendo want to support the Smash community when the Smash community is like one of the most toxic fan bases? So it's just like it is not a match made in heaven, and they're both being not friendly towards each other.
To be fair, I don't think there's a single fighting game community that would want their events run by Nintendo, to be completely fair. Mm-hmm. Nintendo is bad.
Nintendo is bad. Nintendo is bad. It's because they want to micromanage everything. It's like when they want to, like they did try to create a tournament, but they try to create it. They try to make it like somewhat friendly, and so it was like somewhat casual friendly. So they had some items on. They had items on until top 16, and then it was um, and then they made it full on. Uh, that's why I was like, that's what kind of made me really upset, mostly with the Panda Cup and why that fell apart. It was mostly not necessarily because of like I guess how Alan and everyone handled the situation. Is because I kind of knew at that point that like any possible deals that were going to be made after that were probably done kaput. Like we're not probably they probably weren't going to have a big giant tournament like they were before. Maybe like several years down the road they might, but like it just bugs me that like that was like the one chance for everything to come together, and even then like it wasn't Nintendo, it was the Smash community that tore it apart. So uh
It didn't help that the head of Panda at the time did something very bad and shady.
from what from my understanding, maybe this might help, is that other TOs were saying that Alan, when in talks with them, would say that Nintendo was going to shut down their tournaments if they didn't join Panda. That was the impression that Alan gave.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, in rebuttal to that, I do think it's a little more nuanced. Alan did say that I think Alan says that he probably didn't have the best forethought in going into those conversations. Um, Saying that he probably could have handled those conversations a little better. However, coming from Alan's perspective, remember he's partnering with Nintendo, and he's been working like 5 or 6 years trying to get a license. For him, saying that, for him saying that to other TOs when Nintendo is kind of saying, "Hey, look, we're only going to have certified tournaments now." So for him, it's just a matter of just like kind of a what's the word? It just makes sense because he's just trying to be like, look, this is what Nintendo's telling me, and that's what what Nintendo's saying. So which is honestly like I kind of get that. Like maybe Alan didn't do the best of advertising what he was doing, but Nintendo has been a lot more formal in certifying tournaments with an official Nintendo license. Because Panda is not the first one to do it. It was just the one that had I guess, the biggest market. And then it fell apart. So.
Your advice was quite helpful, thank you. This little one and I are getting along quite well now. I wasn't sure if I should outfit him with all of the royal gear. I thought maybe he should have to earn it first. But it works.
And that's kind of where my thinking is. Is like, yeah, you can paint Alan as the bad guy for going in and being like, hey, look, you're probably going to get shut down. But Nintendo was already creating official Nintendo licenses for other tournaments. And Alan had worked like 5 or 6 years to try to make it work. So,
The name's decree is very specific. It says no one is allowed under the age of 17.
Good video. But anyway, Nintendo's situation, or that whole situation, is literally what made me is what really made me kind of put the pieces together of why the Smash community will probably never get a big tournament or be formally professional or formally big, because literally all three sections of that whole ordeal was stupid. Nintendo was stupid for being super stubborn. The Smash community was stupid for thinking that they could get away with not being officially licensed, as much as it sucks. Alan was stupid for trying to I don't want to say strong arm, but for presenting himself as kind of like the savior of Smash. So it's just it was just all stupid, and yeah, and now the Smash community is like, what does it have left, right? Esports are dying in general. Top players are being dropped out. Steve is being banned in a lot of places because he's got too many broken mechanics. It's just like, yeah, the Smash Bros will live on because people who play the game love Smash, but it's going to be a while before it hits a heyday again, because everyone, it's like there's like a recession essentially in the Smash Bros community, because all facets of the community right now are kind of down. All the organizations are down. The trust between the community and Nintendo is at an all-time low. Nintendo's involvement in the community is probably at an all-time low, and the Smash community, the hype for Smash Bros is at an all-time low. It's just like literally every single facet of the Smash community right now is just at an all-time low. So it's all stupid. Okay. All right, I'll continue. I'm sorry. There you go. You have my rant on the Smash Bros community. Hopefully that was exciting and enjoyable and worth your time.
I never get to hear you rant, so that was a new experience.
I don't get heated often. I'm usually very laid back, but there are points when you kind of see all the parts and you kind of see how they're all just broken in their own way, and they all pretend to be nice to each other, but they're not because of whatever reason. I don't know. It just kind of all frustrates me when no one can see their own hubris